Did you know that if you're over 80, you might be missing out on an extra state pension payment? This could mean hundreds of pounds more in your pocket each year, but here's the catch: most people don't even know it's available to them. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to find out if you're eligible and claim this extra payment. Let's dive in. Welcome to UK Insight, now your trusted guide for pensions, benefits, and senior living in the UK. Stay informed, stay supported, and enjoy your golden years with confidence. Subscribe now and join the community. First off, you might be wondering, what exactly is this extra state pension payment? Well, the state pension is a payment from the government to support people who've reached state pension age. But did you know that, for some people aged 80 and over, there's actually an extra payment on top of the regular state pension? This payment is often overlooked by many people, but it could make a real difference to your finances if you're eligible. And it's not just a small amount. This payment could be worth a significant sum each month, depending on your circumstances. But here's the catch: not everyone knows they qualify for this extra payment. And that's why we're here today, to make sure you're aware of it and know exactly how to claim it. So, who exactly is eligible for this extra state pension payment? To put it simply, if you're aged 80 or over and you qualify for the full state pension, you could be entitled to a higher amount. This is part of a special arrangement called the pensioner premium under the pension credit scheme. You might also hear it referred to as the pension credit guarantee for those who qualify. It's important to note that this extra payment isn't automatic for everyone. It's something you have to apply for. In fact, many people who could be entitled to it simply don't know about it, and therefore miss out. So let's take a closer look at how to find out if you're eligible. First, the most important thing to check is whether you're receiving the full state pension. If you're only receiving a partial pension, or if your pension amount is lower than the full amount, you may be able to get the extra top-up through pension credit. The full state pension amount, as of the latest figures, is around £203.85 per week. If you're receiving less than this, it's definitely worth checking whether you're eligible for a top-up through pension credit. The extra payment you could receive depends on your overall income, savings, and other circumstances, but it can be quite a bit more than you might think. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Even if you already receive the basic state pension, you might still be missing out on the extra payment simply because you haven't applied for pension credit yet. That's why it's so important to take the next step and find out if you qualify. You might be wondering, how do I apply for this extra payment? Good question. The application process for pension credit can be done online or over the phone. The first step is to check whether you meet the eligibility criteria. To apply, you need to provide some basic information, such as your age, income, savings, and living situation. Don't worry though, it's not as complicated as it might sound. Once you've checked your eligibility, the application form is straightforward and should only take about 15 minutes to fill out. However, if you're not comfortable applying online, you can call the Pension Credit Helpline, and they'll assist you with the process over the phone. The helpline is available Monday to Friday, and they're very helpful in guiding you through the application. It's also worth mentioning that the pension credit application is completely free. There's no charge to apply, and you don't need to hire anyone to help you with the process unless you really want to. Now, let's talk about how much extra money you could receive. The exact amount varies depending on your individual circumstances. For example, if you're a single person aged 80 or over, you could be eligible for up to £74.70 extra per week in pension credit. If you're part of a couple, the amount could be up to £116.60 per week. These amounts are in addition to your regular state pension. You might be thinking, that sounds great, but is there a catch? Well, there are some eligibility criteria you should know about. To qualify for the extra payment, you need to meet certain income and savings thresholds. The government's basic rule is that if you're living on a low income and have less than £10,000 in savings, you may be eligible for pension credit. For couples, the savings threshold is £16,000. But don't let this discourage you. Even if you have savings above these limits, you could still be eligible for some support depending on your situation. For example, if your savings are in the form of a property you own, that doesn't necessarily count against you in the same way as having cash in the bank. And if you're a carer, this could also affect your eligibility, potentially giving you access to more benefits. Another thing to keep in mind is that even if you're not sure whether you qualify or not, it's still worth applying. Many people are surprised to find out that they qualify for pension credit, even if they didn't think they would. Now you may be asking, when will I get the payment, and how does it come through? After your application is processed, you should receive the extra payment every 4 weeks. It'll be added to your regular state pension payments, so you won't have to worry about it arriving separately or managing multiple payments. But here's something else to keep in mind. If you qualify for pension credit, you could also be entitled to other benefits. For example, pension credit can also give you access to free prescriptions, discounts on your council tax, and even help with your heating bills through the Warm Home Discount Scheme. So, this extra payment isn't just about boosting your income. It could also unlock several other benefits that make a real difference to your day-to-day living. As you can see, there's a lot to gain from applying for this extra state pension payment, and it could be easier than you think to claim it. The key takeaway is that if you're over 80, you might be missing out on a substantial extra payment that could help you financially. Even if you're not sure whether you qualify, it's definitely worth checking and applying. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go over the key points. If you're 80 or over, check whether you're receiving the full state pension, and if you qualify for pension credit, you could be entitled to extra money up to £74.70 per week for singles or £116.60 per week for couples. The application process is simple, either online or over the phone, and it's completely free. Even if you don't think you qualify, it's still worth applying, as many people are surprised by the support they're eligible for. Besides the extra payment, qualifying for pension credit can unlock additional benefits like free prescriptions and discounts on heating bills. Thanks for watching UK Insight Now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with other seniors who need this info. See you in the next video. Stay well, stay informed.